Hi, it's Jen here with Bushcraft Diva, and I am here because you asked for it. This is a two-part series because it's a lot of information. I've had a lot of people asking me, what do I need to do to prepare my family in my home? Number one, in case there's an emergency situation, and number two, what happens if we need to get out of Dodge. So in this first video, we are going to talk about what we need to do to prepare ourselves for an emergency situation like a shelter in place. The next video, we're going to talk about bugging out. We've got a lot to get into, so let's go. All right, we've got a lot to get into, so I'm just going to go for it. Grab your pen, grab your paper, and I'm going to bullet point through everything really quick for you. You have no long articles to read, and you can organize this in a manner that makes sense to you so you can get this job done today. I have a lot of women coming to me asking me, what do I need to do to get myself and my family ready for the next situation? This question is being asked all day long, every day for the last week in every single forum I'm in. Now, let me preface this by saying that every item I'm about to share with you needs to be in every household in America anyway. So if I mention something that you don't have, get it because you need it. My family, we are prepared, the four of us, for 4 to 6 weeks out at any given time, probably more than that. So we're going to take a look at what you need for 2 weeks. And this is like an insurance policy. You never know you need it until you need it. And better be prepared than not. And you're not going to lose money on this because you're constantly going to be rotating the food and water and supplies out for fresh anyway. So you're good to go. So let's take a look at what we need. The first thing we need per person is a water supply for 2 weeks. We're looking at a 2-week time period is what we're preparing for. So what does that mean, a water supply for 2 weeks per person? That is 1 gallon of water per person per day. So for one person, that's 14 gallons of water. If we do the math, and you got a family of 4 like mine, that's 56 gallons of water. Plus, I've got 2 medium to large sized dogs, so I'm going to bump that up to 80 gallons of water that we're going to need for a 2-week time period. That's a lot of water, and a lot of people don't have that kind of storage space. So if you don't, my recommendation is if you have an extra bathroom, sanitize and disinfect that bathtub really well and fill it with water. As you use the water, you can refill it as long as your water source is not contaminated. And often in natural disaster situations, that water is contaminated, so you're not going to be able to do that. But most importantly, if you're going to have a full tub in your house, please lock the bathroom door. Keep it shut and keep it inaccessible to children and pets. We don't want anyone falling in and drowning. We don't want tragedy on top of already an emergency situation. The next thing we need is a 2-week supply per person of non-perishable foods. What does that mean? Canned goods, canned and bagged proteins, dried grains, dehydrated foods. Rice and pastas go a long way, but you need to also have those proteins and the fruits and vegetables. The next thing you need to have on hand per person is a 30-day supply of medications, vitamins, and supplements per person. Medication, a little trick that I learned here is many insurance companies have, you can ask them for a vacation supply. So find out what the whatever the rules are regarding your insurance company, where they will release an extra amount of medication for you. So you always have 30 days of medication on hand. The next thing you need is a good first aid kit. You can buy a really nice kit for $60 to $70 that's going to have everything you're ever going to need in it. And they usually come in nice bags, so you can put those along with your next item. If you need to bug out, grab it and go. I built my first aid kit based off of the first aid kit that I bought when we first got married, and it's got everything we'll ever need. The next thing you need per person is a go bag. That is going to be our next video, but it is a 3-day, 72-hour evacuation emergency bag that is fully stocked, and you need to keep it in an accessible place where you can grab it and go. So first, let's get our 2 weeks prep done, and then if you're locked down for 2 weeks, get your go bag together. But I'm going to give you in the next video everything you need to prepare for that. Next, you need a flashlight, one flashlight per person. We want to deal with as little open flame in the house as possible. So definitely flashlights. Make sure you have extra batteries. You need a knife. We trained our kids at a very young age on Swiss Army knives. We started with the beginner one that was rounded. Now everyone in our house carries at least one knife on them at any given time. You also need a multi-purpose tool, something that has a screwdriver, a ruler, a bottle opener, a saw, a knife. You can even get some fancy with corkscrews. So ladies, when you're cooped up with your family for 2 weeks and you need a glass of wine, you've got a corkscrew to open the bottle with. The next thing you are going to need is an emergency blanket per person. Now you can get the heavy duty ones that are more tarp-like. Those are going to run you about $20. Or you can get the more disposable ones, the Mylar. Those are about $3 a piece. Make sure you have one per person on hand. That is not including in your go bag. You need one per person on hand. Next, you want a radio, whether it be a crank radio or a battery operated radio. Again, make sure you have extra batteries. If you can get one that has a weather channel on it, that's great. If you can also do a radio that has two-way communication or CB, that's great too. But at least have a radio that gives you access to outside communication. So you are in the know at all times. Toilet paper, sanitary items, and toiletries. You need that per person. So make sure you've got enough toilet paper. Get it now. You're never going to not use it, but you're going to avoid the rush like we had when COVID hit. Sanitary items for women, make sure you've got all that on hand. Toiletries, toothbrush, deodorant, toothpaste, all that kind of stuff. Cell phones and chargers. Everybody who has a cell phone needs to have their cell phone and preferably a secondary charger. So cell phone, 2 chargers if possible. Cash. You want cash on hand. Large bills for if you want to have a lot of cash on hand, make sure you have some small bills. So if you get into a situation at stores where they're not able to take cards, they may not be able to break large bills. So have plenty of 20s, 10s, 5s, and 1s on you. Emergency contact information. You want all of your emergency contact information listed in one place on a sheet of paper, and you want multiple copies of that. So if you slap one on the fridge, you want something in a prominent place that everybody knows exactly where it is. But if that sucker flips off and goes right under the freezer, you can slap another one up there. So have multiple copies, but keep copies of emergency contact information in at least one of them in a prominent place that anyone can go to at any given time. Copies of personal documents, driver's license, passports, IDs, bank information, all of your insurance information being health, car, home, passports, that kind of stuff. And we're going to get into more of that when we get into go bags. You're going to need more information, but I recommend copying all of your documents and putting them on a flash drive so they're all accessible in one place, and they're not accessible for someone if they break into your house to grab that paperwork. You have it on a flash drive so it's secure and it's on you at all times. You want to have maps of the area, something local to your area, maybe regional, just in case you need to identify where something is going on, or if you need to get somewhere and normal modes of transportation are not possible. Talking about transportation, you want full tanks of gas. Make sure your cars are fully stocked with gas. The tires are at the right pressure. They have coolant, they have washer fluid, that kind of thing. Probably make sure if you haven't had an oil change in a while, because a lot of people haven't been driving in a lot, you get an oil change now sooner than later. And if anything, if you have access to a generator, that is a great resource. Not everybody can afford, I can't afford a generator, but a lot of people can. And if you can, that's a great thing to have. Extras, if you have pets, you want, water and food supply for 2 weeks per pet. You also want some extra blankets. You want leashes. And you also want their documents along with all of the copies of the personal documentation. So their vet statements, their vaccinations, that kind of stuff. If you have young children, you also want to make sure that you have enough diapers, wipes, formulas, and extra blankets. Disposable diapers, okay? In this kind of situation, we don't want to be wasting electricity and water. A lot of people cloth diaper now. I cloth diapered, use disposable. I know it's not environmentally friendly, but we're in an emergency situation. So those are the things that you're going to need for 72 hours. I'm sorry, for 2 weeks preparedness. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm looking at 72 hours, which is the next video. So 2 weeks preparedness for your family. 1 gallon of water per person a day, 2-week food supply per person, 30-day on medications, vitamins, and supplements, a large first aid kit, go bag, that's our next video, flashlights per person, knives per adult and per trained child who can use them safely, multi-tools, emergency blankets per person, radio, either crank or battery operated, extra batteries, cell phones and chargers, cash, emergency contact info, copies of all of your important documentation, map of the area, full tank of gas, a generator if you can, extras for pets and for small children who may be in diapers or need formula or that kind of stuff. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop it in the comment section of this video. And I'm happy to hop on and answer any questions that you do have or clarify anything that may be unclear to you. So thank you for joining me. Stay safe, stay healthy, be prepared, and we'll see you for the next video of this series, which is our 72-hour preparedness emergency evacuation kit. So have a great evening, stay safe, and God bless America.